Maid Agnes sat upon the lonely strand along the shore. The waves broke softly upon the white sea sand. As Agnes sat along the shore, a young, beautiful merman rose out from the bottom of the sea. He had a shield that was made of a turtle shell and had long, beautiful hair that fell upon his shoulders.
And tell to me, sweet merman, fresh from the deep, deep sea, when will a tender husband come to woo and marry me?
Oh, hearken, sweet Agnes, to the words I say to thee. All for the sake of my true heart, let me thy husband be. Far underneath the deep, deep sea, I reign in a palace, and all around of crystal clear uprise the wondrous walls. 700 handmaids wait and serve my slightest wish. Please come down to the deep, deep sea with me.
Years went by, and Agnes hears the bells and says to the merman,
And may I once and only once go say my prayers on land?
Then hearken, sweet wife Agnes, to the words I say to thee. Fall not in 20 hours and 4 to hasten home to me. Hasten.
When smoke and mist rose from the sea, and it was dark on land, she drew her robe about her face and stood upon the strand. Then folded she her thin, thin hands, the merman's weary wife.
O heaven, take me of my wickedness, and take me of my life.
She sank among the meadow grass, as white and cold as snow. The roses growing round about turned white and cold also. Each morning and each evening the stone is wet above. The merman hath wept, the town girls say, over his lost true love. For he was made last, and there was not quite enough tin left to finish him. However, he stood just as well on his one leg as the others on two. The prettiest thing of all was a little maiden standing at the open door of the castle. The little maid was stretching out both arms, for she was a dancer. And in the dance, one of her legs was raised so high into the air that the tin soldier could see absolutely nothing of it, and supposed that she, like himself, had but one leg.
That would be the perfect wife for me, but she is much too grand. I only have a box.
Then the clock struck 12, when pop, up flew the lid of the snuff box, but there was no snuff in it, no. There was a little black goblin, a sort of jack in the box.
Tin soldier, have the goodness to keep your eyes to yourself.
But the tin soldier feigned not to hear.
He looked at her, and she looked at him, but they never said a word. By this time the soldier was reduced to a mere lump, and when the maid took away the ashes the next morning, she found him in the shape of a small tin heart. All that was left of the dancer was her spangle, and that was burnt as black as coal.
No, but it's true. I know. But the thing is, like, I do it every year.
She crept along trembling with cold and hunger, a very picture of sorrow, the poor little thing. Her little feet she had drawn close up to her, but she grew colder and colder, and to go home she did not venture, for she had not sold any matches and could not bring a farthing of money. From her father she would certainly get blows, and at home it was cold too.
Better sell those matches or else.
Oh, a match might afford her a world of comfort if she had only dared take a single one out of the bundle, draw it against the wall, and warm her fingers by it. The fire burned with such blessed influence, it warmed so delightfully. The little girl had already stretched out her feet to warm them too. But the small flame went out. The stove vanished. She had only the remains of the burnt-out match in her hand. She lighted another match. Now, there, she was sitting under the most magnificent Christmas tree. It was still larger and more decorated than the one which she had seen through the glass door in the rich merchant's house. She drew another match against the wall. It was again light, and in the lush there stood the old grandmother, so bright and radiant, so mild, and with such an expression of love.
Grandmother, oh, take me with you. You go away when the match burns out. You vanish like a warm stove, like the delicious roast goose, and like that magnificent Christmas tree.
And she rubbed the whole bunch of matches quickly against the wall, for she wanted to be quite sure of keeping her grandmother near her. And the matches gave such a brilliant light that it was brighter than at noonday. Never formerly had the grandmother been so beautiful and so tall. She took the little Madden on her arm, and both flew in brightness and in joy so high, so very high, and then above was neither cold nor hunger nor anxiety. They were with God. At the cold hour of dawn sat the poor girl with rosy cheeks and with a smiling mouth, leaning against the wall, frozen to death on the last evening of the old year. Stiff and stark sat the child there with her matches, of which one bundle had been burnt.